everyone and happy Monday. It is planner day, Johanna Basford's weekly planner, and we have this succulent picture which I adore, and it is from World of Flowers, I think. Now it's quite small in detail, but I think we can cope with it. What I've done is I've selected my Chromaflow pencils because we can get to a nice sharp point. But we're going to actually start with doing a little bit on all of them. So we're going to do the soil, and then we're going to do the plants, then we're going to do the pots. And I can't decide what colour to do the pots, that's the truth. So I am going to come in a lot closer so we sort of see maybe 4 at a time. I think it's a pity really we didn't just have 4 rather than having so many. But anyway, it is what it is and we will work it out. Now, soil. I usually do it sort of blacky grey. I am going to, I think I'm going to use the basalt grey. Basalt, don't know how to say it. I'm just trying to find it. Where is it? It's that way. There it is. So here it is, the basalt grey. And of course I need a sharpener. And of course I don't have it in here. Hang on. Yeah, I'm finding this little Tagal sharpener really good for sort of pencils that are a bit temperamental, shall we say. So I'm going to start in the top corner. I'm just going to do these sort of areas. Now you don't necessarily want to do it even because dirt isn't even. This looks quite a lot blacker and greyer than I thought, but never mind. Yeah, dirt isn't a sort of even colour, it's in little lumps and clods, although these pots aren't going to be that. Clod is probably a bigger piece of dirt than you would get in a little pot, but I think you know what I mean. And we'll just work all the way around, just filling in all these little gaps. So the little words, I hope everyone's doing well. It's actually Saturday here, and my family have all gone off to get their hair cut, so I thought it would be a good chance to do a little bit of recording before they all come back again. I've got quite a few different things I want to get recorded actually, but it's just a case of being patient with myself, because if I pile a huge pile of books here on the desk and keep looking at them, it's going to make me feel anxious. And I certainly don't want to do that, so I just work through, and this is my next sort of scab, so this is what I'm doing. Oh, we saw the most beautiful thing this morning. I was going to take my son out for a little quick walk. He'd had bad insomnia last night, and I understand that you can reset your circadian rhythms by walking in the morning light, sort of almost as soon as you wake up, or going, you know, or seeing morning light really. So I thought I'd just take him for a little walk, and he had said his leg was a bit sore when he got up, and then after breakfast he said he was too sore. So I said, well, let's just lean out and look at the garden. I'm fortunate to have a little garden which we do absolutely nothing with. We really should do a bit more with it, but anyway, he did lean outside the door and have a little look in the garden. I'm going down here now, and there were loads and loads of robins in the garden, and they weren't scared by us. I've just gone over the lines there, and they were doing the most funny thing. So they were stretching up really tall in their body and then tipping their head back and ruffling their feathers to show off their red breasts, red necks, and singing most beautifully. And there are about 6 of them, and some of them were doing this and others were watching, so I'm assuming there was a mix of male and female robins. And I guess spring is coming. Is this the 20th? No, it's the 22nd, that's right, 22nd of February. But it's really sunny today. We had lots of rain yesterday. It's suddenly a lot warmer, and so maybe the birds were just feeling it. It was just so funny. And then later at lunchtime I saw a pigeon on the fence, and I haven't seen pigeons around for ages either. are not in our garden anyway. I do wonder if we should put some more things to attract the birds, because it is lovely, but we can't feed them, so because we attract unwelcome visitors. So I'm not really sure what the best thing to do is. I nearly coloured the wrong bit then. I'll tell you a funny story. I was colouring a snail picture this morning from a Hannah Carlson from the Witch's Cottage, Tales from Witch's Cottage book, and the snail looked a little bit odd. It had this sort of body, and there's a bit underneath, and then there's this big piece underneath. I was like, well, that looks a bit odd. Oh well, yeah, I'll just colour it. It'll make sense once it's coloured. Colouring away, suddenly realised that the big bit underneath was not part of the snail. I'd coloured it in grey. It was a leaf. So I'd coloured this big leaf in grey. I was like, oh. So I had to go over it. I went over it in a couple of other, I think maybe only one other green. It worked. Thankfully, it sort of blended up. I was using my Black Widow pencils, and they just seemed to blend up nicely, and it just looked like a green. So, I'm sure there are leaves that are grey, but it was not the look I was going. Oh, excuse me. I am tired too, because my son had insomnia. He kept getting up and down out of bed and yawning and things like that, and I could hear him, and I didn't sleep at all well either, but I'm fine. You know how it is with your kids, you just worry. I mean, it's silly really, because it's like, what could I do? If he needed me, we have this deal, because he's had insomnia his whole life. We have this deal because he said he used to feel guilty that he wasn't going to sleep because I was awake. And so we now have a deal that I go to sleep, and if he needs me, he has to wake me up. So that's the deal. And then he doesn't feel guilty and I can go to sleep. But of course, I don't know why I didn't put them like that before. Anyway, of course, you know how it is being a mum or dad, maybe, parent, grandparent. You do worry about them. You want to make sure they're okay. And also, you know, when you keep hearing noise, I was really restless last night. Every little noise I heard noises outside. I heard my other son going to bed. So many different noises. Right, we're going up here. Some of these are so intricate. I think this is the hardest one. So we get this done. Trying to decipher what's plant and what's dirt is quite tricky sometimes. And then even if you are confident, you've got to get in that little space and colour it. I'm just going to do my best. Which the light is interesting at the moment as it's sunny. I have opened the blinds. I can't quite work out what's going on there. What's that line there? I think that is soil there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. If you disagree, do it your way. Don't just take my word for it. I might be wrong. These are small, aren't they? No. I sort of wish that they had a little bit of a think about how we're supposed to see such little details and colour such small areas, you know. But I don't usually find it a problem with Johanna's books on her regular books, but you know, and particularly this picture where they could have easily have just chopped 4 out, like these 4. We could have just had those 4, you know, or even 6. I've just lost my slipper. Let's put it back on. Oh, silly slipper. It doesn't want to go on. There we go. Oh, my slippers are way too big. I bought some for my son and he said they were too small. So I kept them for me, and then I bought him another pair. But they have got so big. They were a little bit big for me anyway. But I thought I'd just have them. It'll save money, and it's like a 3/4 of an hour walk to the shop to take them back. I just don't want to do it. So anyway, so they've got they've stretched and stretched and stretched and just got dangerously big. So to the point where I can't really wear them up and down stairs because my feet fall out of them. So I'm really, really careful. I either shuffle really slowly or I don't take them off. Because if I'm just nipping up all down to grab something or make a quick drink, then I don't bother to wear them. Oh, we've got a nice easy one now. If I'm going down to cook or eat or something, then I do wear them because it gets cold then. Our ground floor is our coldest. Also, there's no carpet down there. It's sort of, I don't know what you call it. We've got like plastic floor tiles. They sound horrible. They're not. They look like they're fake wood. They're okay. They're not as nice as some others we've got. We decided to go with Carndine because that's what we had in other parts of the house, in the bathrooms, and it was really good. Unfortunately, they're not as good as they used to be, and they started getting holes, dents, scratches really, really quickly, which was very annoying. And they sent me some replacements when I complained, but it's all very well, but I'm not a fitter, so I would have had to pay for them to be fitted. It's not really good enough, is it? I'm just never going to buy from them ever again, and I'm also going to tell everyone to avoid them because they used to be so good. Apparently they changed where they manufactured their things, which is not, doesn't necessarily have to be a problem, but then the quality went down. I'm just trying to work out, I think we've got a bit in there of soil, maybe there, a little bit stuck there. I think that'll do. Okay, let's do these. So yeah, I felt a little bit annoyed that, you know, the price has gone up and the quality's gone down, and it's just no. And I guess people can't afford to buy it anymore, so I don't know, they put the prices up still. I don't really get it, but anyway. Yeah, I was trying to think of what colours to do these pots. I had thoughts. I was like, I could do them blue and yellow, that'd be quite nice. But then I was thinking succulents tend to be either a sort of earth green type colour, you know, a sort of, what would you say, a grey green, or bluey green, bluey grey green, and maybe with some pink, or they're more like a yellowy green with some orange, that sort of thing. And I'm thinking, are those colours going to match blue pots? I wasn't entirely sure, so I thought I would wait, and then I might decide to do all the pots different colours, or I might decide to do them all the same colour or the same variations of a colour. You know, there's so many choices, isn't there? Which is good. We're lucky to have all these choices, but it can make it a little bit tricky to know quite what to do. So I thought, well, I'll wait and I'll see how it comes out, you know, what I decide to do with the leaves and how that looks, and then whether I think I want a pot to match each plant, so all different colours, or whether I want something that looks more consistent and all the same colour. And the dirt's all the same, because I'm sort of I think it makes sense. Although if I look at the dirt in my pot plants, they're probably not all exactly the same, because I got them all at different times and they have a different type of compost in them, etc. And the older ones, the compost going a bit white, and it's got leaf litter on top of it from where the plant shed leaves. And although one of my plants you can't see any of the soil at all because it's such big, it's grown so madly. So anyway, it's easier to match it up anyway, and it gets rid of, that's not the right phrase, gets a bit done, makes it less daunting. I think getting a bit of each done right away can immediately make our picture feel less daunting, because we've got that bit done. And I know this one, that it's not going to be as daunting as the office the other week, but it still could be because it's quite small. If you're not a fan of succulents, then that could put you off a bit. If you aren't a fan of succulents, you don't have to colour them as succulents. You can colour them however you wish. And we aren't necessarily going to go down that route. It depends what I decide each time for each one. And some of them look less and more like succulents than others. So that sort of sways the decision a little bit too, doesn't it? Ooh. Yeah, let's have a little sharpen. It's so bright in the sky. Cannot believe it's March. When it's not. It's 22nd of February. I told you that already. But still, I feel that every year flies by quicker than the last. But I have heard that years go fast when you don't do things that are different, and time goes slower if you're doing new things, which is quite interesting. I don't know if it's true. I haven't really tested the theory. It's very hard to estimate how much time you think has passed. You know, you might say, oh, that went quickly, but could you say whether it felt like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days? You know. See, I find that when I go on holiday, within a few days it feels a really long time since you were ever at home. But when you get towards the end of the week, let's say it's a week, the end of the holiday, it feels like it's passed in a flash. There's something wrong. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. I've something wrong with my time perception. It's quite odd. This one just looks like 4-leaf clovers. Pretty, isn't it? See these look, oh, you can't see. This looks like a succulent, and these could be, but some of these, this one doesn't look so much like one. But so you could colour it however you wish. You could do them all in the same green, for example. Grab one green pencil, do them all the same. It's tempting, I have to say, and then do all the pots the same and then you're done. But I'm not sure. I feel like I am now contemplating that idea. If I used a mid-green, I could do all the plants the same green, and then I could come back in with different colours, sort of an orange or a red or a brown, to sort of change it up a bit. I'll give myself an idea, haven't I? I'm thinking strongly of that. Right, I'm going to leave that now. And what I'll probably find is as I colour my plants, I'll probably find that I spot bits where I've missed. So I will go back and colour over those. Now, my idea about doing more the same colour, can we get away with it? That colour isn't going to, what I'm doing, let me bring it in. What I'm doing is I'm looking at my greens, I've got some here and some here. Now these are the ones I would usually use for cacti. This cactus colour, oddly. And then I might add a bit of brown, a sort of reddish, like a caput mortuum red or Indian red, that sort of red, to that. Or maybe some of these darker colours as well. However, if I go for a more neutral colour, what have I got here? That's the olive iron, it's quite dark. Like this. No, it's not going to work, is it? It's just not going to work. I think I'm going to use the cactus. I feel like, it feels like we should. So here it is, cactus. And I think I am going to colour each one the same colour. I am going to use that idea because it's easy. So I'm going to colour each plant in this colour. Now, this isn't going to be my only layer of colour on these leaves. So make sure that you don't press too hard, because you're going to be able to add other colours on top, you need to leave some layers, some space for some layers, so you need some tooth in that paper. If you push it down too hard, you get too much of a thick layer of this colour, nothing else can sit in there. and I'm just going to go through all of them. The only thing is one of them that looks like it's floral, and I wonder about whether I want to do some flowers on it. I don't know if cacti flower. I know my aunt used to plant up little cacti, and she would get paper flowers and pin them on, and they look really interesting. I don't know whether it was a sort of 80s, 90s thing, but it just made the green cacti look a little bit more interesting. Now these are quite fine. This colour is so close to the soil colour. We can certainly do something with it. Make it stand out a bit more. We'll do something with each of them, but it's really weird that it's so sunny today. When we were out this morning, it wasn't that sunny. The cloud was just lifting. You could see a little bit blue sky here and there. It was interesting. Expect everyone will be out and about. I saw someone in shorts. It's February, I felt like saying. Mate, it's still February. What are you doing in your shorts? Excuse me, mister. Can you put some trousers on? Your shorts are making me feel cold. Yes. Although a lot of postmen wear shorts here. Mine doesn't. Mine never wears them, actually. My current one tends to change quite a lot. We got quite a lot of post. Was it yesterday? Not sure. Might have been the day before. I think it was the day before. Yeah, yesterday I did get one thing. That's right. And it came, and attached to it was a survey from the Royal Mail asking a few questions, which was interesting. Apparently I've been randomly chosen to answer some questions about the Royal Mail service. Now here it looks like we've got some different things going on. I'm just thinking what to do. I'm doing these sticker leaves with this. Maybe I'll do those spidery bits with something else. That's what I'm thinking. I'll just do these sticker leaves. So yeah, it was a little survey saying, I think it was about would you recommend us or something. Oh, I think that one's part of that. I'll leave that. Yeah, I never know what to say because I don't make recommendations. People don't come and ask me and go, oh, would you recommend Parcel Force over Royal Mail? What is that? I don't really use them. But anyway, I know our local Parcel Force delivery man is lovely. Anyway, so I don't know. But it was a little survey thing. So I did it anyway because it was franked, so you could send it back for free. I thought it might help them. Because I know a lot of businesses are struggling, including Royal Mail and the Post Office. Because, yeah, it's really tricky for them because they're obliged to deliver letters and they have to make delivery every day of the week. Not apart from Sunday, sorry, 6 days a week. And I think it makes them unable to compete with parcel companies who can do what they like, really. And parcel companies employ a lot of self-employed drivers who actually take less than minimum wage. So if you employ people directly, you have to pay them a minimum wage, which is set by the government, tends to be updated with inflation. And probably not enough, some would argue, but anyway, we'll not get into the politics of it all. However, if you're self-employed, then your wage is determined by you. So either what you choose to pay yourself or how much your business makes. You know, if your business isn't making enough, you can't pay yourself enough money or much money. So if these people are self-employed delivery drivers, then they might charge less or be paid less than if they were employed. There's also rules when you've got an employee which don't apply to contractors, such as pensions. You have to pay into a pension for all your employees, and that's expensive for a small business and complicated. And you have to pay them things like sick pay and give them some amount of paid holiday, things like that. So there are all sorts of rules, and it makes it quite complicated. Whereas if you're self-employed and the company employs you, there are no rules for them. They just tell you what they want you to do, and if you don't like it, then you just leave, you know. So it's simpler. Same if you're a contractor or a temporary staff. You know, although there are some rules to cover temporary staff. If you work for a company for a certain amount of successive days, then you're entitled to a certain amount of paid holiday. Things like that. Or I think that, or a certain amount of paid days off, so you could take it as a sick day and get paid for it as well. Sick pay is a little bit different though, because the government sometimes pays it. Depends on the way it is done within a company, so I get a bit confused by that. Now this one to me looks like it has got lots of different colour bits, so I'm going to do all the ones with dots on in this colour, like with a sort of pattern of dots rather than just one dot. And then I shall do the others in different colours. Like that. That's quite complicated. Now this one I want to do these as flowers, so I'm just going to do these outside bits. Trying to decide what to watch tonight. I think I might read a book for a bit. I'm in the middle of a book on cure your IBS using CBT. It is quite fascinating so far. And the stuff that, some of the stuff I knew, but really it was just like, that's just quite amazing. Anyway, we'll see whether it, I've done about 3 chapters so far. It's actually a workbook to work through. It's actually my husband, for him to do, but he's actually started doing some of the techniques already without reading the book. I mean, as he's just more recently started doing some deep breathing as he's about to leave the house to get rid of his anxiety, and that sort of anxiety of driving and traffic and things like that. And I just hope he checked the roads. I'm just thinking before he went out just now, because some of them are due to be closed. Right, what I've decided is we are now going to start doing some more detailed work on each of the plants. Sorry, so we're going to come in close. I'm looking at the time, but I've got a bit of time. We're going to grab a slightly darker green. The field grey is where we're going to go to start with. And we're going to put in some shadows on here, because this is sort of piled up on top of each other. So we start here, for example, we want a bit of shadow there. You can extend it a bit like that, and then we can do the same here, like that. And hopefully, if we go all the way around our plant to doing this, we will end up with something that looks a little bit more three-dimensional, like the leaves are set up slightly from each other, not all laid down in a flat heap like that. So we just keep going round and round to add these little details on. It's funny, I was talking to my sister about when we were at school, we were talking about how poor some of the people were in our class. There was one girl who had one dress, and she would wear it to school and out of school all the time. She just possessed just one dress. And then I remember seeing one of the boys outside of school, and he was wearing the same clothes that he always wore to school. I'm going to do a different colour on these outlines. He was wearing, you know, he wore grey trousers and a shirt to school. He was wearing that same clothing on a Saturday. I was like, wow, he's only got one set of clothes. I had loads of clothes, so I was really lucky. It's something that my mum really likes, is clothes and clothes shopping, so I don't midnight move, so we always had a lot. So I'm just going to go around the edge of this and try not to press too hard, because I don't want it to look really thick. So yeah, I was thinking, goodness, they must have not been very well off, you know, for him not to have had. I know he's a single. His mum was a single mum, and that was quite rare in my class. I think it's a lot more common now for parents not to be married. But there was him and the girl I spoke about. Yeah, she used to see her dad on a weekend, but only lived with her mum. And I think, oh yes, there was another girl who lived in a flat with her mum. That's right. So a few. There might have been more boys than I knew about, because I didn't talk to the boys very much. Why would you talk to the boys, really? Smelly boys, why would you talk to them? I left that school at 11, by the way. So yes, it was interesting thinking about it, and how how people were, and compared to today where everybody has to have a uniform and things like that, whereas then nobody did have to. There was a sort of vague thing. People vaguely usually wore blue. The tie was blue and gold, so people would vaguely wear like navy blue. I'm going to use a pastel mint to do these inside areas here. I think it would just burnish the colour that's there. Yes, so we had a tie, and yes, you could wear a shirt and tie and skirt, or I'm going to do with that. I think I'm going to go back to my cactus colour, give it a sharpen, and just add a little more colour in a few places. Before we finish this one, I'm going to fuss a bit. So where I've got the shadow here, I'm just going to add to that and draw it up my leaf a little bit. Like that. And I always thought, you know, my parents grew up where they weren't very well off, and they always used to say to me things like, oh, we didn't buy new clothes because we had to buy you shoes all the time and your feet grew so fast. And it used to make me feel a bit horrible, to be honest. But compared to those kids, goodness, you know, we had loads. But it's these days it doesn't seem, people don't seem to be in such a bad situation, which can only be a good thing. But I know there are still some families that really struggle, and I think it's got worse since I finished school. So, right, that's our first one. Let's move across to this one. I'm going to try and use a few different colours for this one rather than trying to always go back to the same ones. So I'm going to grab my basil for this one, and I'm going to fill in these sort of circular bits with a lightish bit of basil, not too dark. You can see it makes it look quite different because it's slightly more bluey. Oh, I forgot hiccups, excuse me, I just had a bit of chocolate. I was going to have some after my lunch and I forgot, and I was just making a coffee. I thought, oh, I'll just have a bit before I have my coffee. Yeah, I bought it in town the other day. I have to say I feel a lot better now that I'm going out every day. I had stopped and I thought I just didn't have the time, but I needed to make the time. I feel so much better for it. and you don't have to go far. This is the obsidian green. I'm going to use this for the shadows on this one. So where they meet, just draw in that little bit of shadow. And even though yesterday when I went out it was pouring with rain, I still felt better for it. And I don't know if it's the exercise or just going out, probably both, to be honest. It made such a difference. And yesterday was nice because I went out with husband. And it's nice because because of his ADHD, he can't multitask. So if he is watching a film or a TV show, he cannot talk to you. He can't concentrate on both things at once. It's just absolutely impossible for him. So if he's involved in anything, really, I can't talk to him. So going out for a walk is great because walking isn't one of those things that takes a lot of his concentration. So we can have a nice natter. We've got this one next. Now I need this to stand out a lot more from the soil than it is, because, and they're quite thin, aren't they? I'm going to grab the leaf green and I'm going to do a little bit in the middle, sort of on the sort of middle bits of these, like a little Catherine wheel, like that. I can hear a very noisy crow. See, the robins aren't the only ones thinking it's spring. Talking of spring, I am going to be doing some spring pictures from the Spring Colouring Heaven book. I haven't completely decided which ones to do yet, but I will. Right, this is the raisin. I can use this for the tips of each of these, just to try and make them stand out from the soil. It's quite detailed work. But it makes quite the difference. I feel it's definitely worth the effort. But it takes a bit of concentration. Here I am saying my husband can't multitask, I'm struggling myself. Even just talking. But yeah, it was rather nice. And also to get him out when he's supposed to be exercising more. He's starting to try, and yesterday I was really pleased, and I told him I was really proud of him that he'd started. He does a little bit of kettlebell exercise each morning, and I can actually see that that's firming up his core a bit, which is really good news. But I feel like he needs to do a bit more, and he's starting to, so that's really good. This one, where should we go? Which colours? What does that look like? Yeah, I'm going to go for the pine green. The colours are all around the same area in the greens. I do need to put my specs though. I'll just get them out of the bag. I haven't used them for a while. There we go. So here is our pine green. And what am I going to do here? I think I'm going to do the inside bits and then just fade it off towards the tip. Excuse me. Like that. We're just going to keep going round and do that for every leaf. So I read that Neighbours has been cancelled again. I watched the very last episode that they broadcast before they brought it back. So I can't imagine they're going to be able to top that with the last episode, because they tried to bring back a lot of the characters, didn't they? So I think it'd be quite tricky. One of the English soap operas, EastEnders, had its 40th anniversary in February this month. They did a live episode. Some of the sort of tabloid news were reporting that there were mistakes in it, but the mainstream news was saying that it was flawless and everyone thought it was really good. I don't really know who to believe because I don't watch it. It is such a depressing programme that I'm just not interested in watching it, to be honest. I used to watch it. I'm going to make that do for today. It's not very vibrant at the moment, so we definitely need to do something with the pots to make it look more vibrant and interesting. I'm just trying to get the whole of the book in the picture. There we go. I'm just taking a picture. And I might do something with the soil to put some shadows under, but it might become too complicated. So I'll have a think about that. But we'd sort of made a start, and I'm quite excited to see how it's going to carry on. But I do need to go and get my cup of coffee, so I thought I would wait here because this is going to be 2 videos anyway, and it felt like a good place to stop, so hopefully it is. So thank you for watching today. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. If you could please like, subscribe and comment, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much, and happy colouring.